When you've known someone since he was 11, you'd think you would notice the changes in his personality. But that isn't always the case. Looking back now, it's easy to see. My husband was a 28-year member of the RCMP. Much of that time was spent as a forensic identification officer, living in a remote part of Canada. He was on call 24/7 and dealt with every suspicious or criminal death and every major personal crime. After dealing with over 500 dead bodies over the years, it's no wonder he began to change. The thing is, I didn't really notice those changes, as they were so subtle and occurred over years. What I really didn't notice was how the changes in him were creating changes in me. It's like putting a pebble in your pocket. You put one pebble in, and you don't notice the weight. Carry that around for a while, and it just becomes part of you. Over the years, you keep putting those pebbles in your pocket, one at a time. You adapt. You get used to it. You don't notice the weight of the pebbles anymore, even as you start running out of pockets to put them in. We didn't notice the subtle changes. We became accustomed to them. It just became part of who he was, who I was, who we were as a family. OCD, anxiety, depression, and secondary traumatic stress became a part of life from living with his PTSD. It wasn't until Jim died that I began to empty my pockets of those pebbles and was finally able to understand the full weight of what I was carrying around. I could look back over the last 30+ years and see how I had changed, see how I had lost myself in those changes. It just became easier to agree, to not stand my ground, to ignore or maybe just endure the hurtful comments and double standards, to give in to what he wanted. Towards the end, we didn't even go out anymore. To him, everyone was guilty of something. Now, I'm working on taking my life back. I no longer have to listen to the trauma dump, to be his sounding board, to talk about dead bodies at the supper table, to be exposed to gruesome photos, or to have restrictions on what can or can't be served for supper because of what it reminded him of. I no longer have to set myself aside. I'm working on letting go of and healing the trauma. I've gone to counseling, began journaling, and began to explore my artistic side. I've become much more social, have reconnected with friends, and have even had people over to the house. I'm making decisions on my own now. I bought a camping trailer and a new truck, all on my own. I've decided to move 2,000 kilometers away, bought a new house by myself, because it's what I need to do. It was scary, yet an empowering decision. I'm working on finding out who I am. I'm putting myself first and doing what I need to do. I'm focusing on what makes me happy and brings me peace. The changes in me, because of my life with PTSD, were years in the making, and my healing will take many more years. I may not be carrying those pebbles anymore, but I still carry the scars that they have left.